everyone, I hope you're doing well and I hope that you have a wonderful day. I am here to do an intuitive card reading to see what insights, guidance, and messages the universe has for us, especially in terms of, living a life of intention, purpose, meaning, and clarity. So let's take a look at the cards and see what the universe wants us to know. Okay. So, first thing that came up is Ocean Jasper, schedule yourself in. So often we end up putting ourselves last, putting ourselves on the back burner, whether it be our needs, our wants, our passions, our hobbies, whatever it is. I know with me, that's been something I'm working on because I'm nowhere near as bad as I used to be, but I'd have all these people going on about how it's like Wonder Woman, Superwoman, whatever, and I was taking care of all these things. My family always expected me to be the one to take care of all of them, even though there are plenty of them that are older than me, like my parents and all my siblings. A lot of times they're very immature and they act like children. Yet they also seem to play it off like they're the rational, calm, reasonable ones that have all the sense. I don't know. But, especially in today's society, so many people, things, places, they're all, vying for your attention, vying for your energy, and be like, no, take care of me. And to-do lists just grow longer and longer and longer and longer. And, then you have to go to work so you can pay the bills and have a roof over your head, have food on the table, all these things. And that's not to say that other people, other things, others places and all that aren't important. But there needs to be a balance. You need to also make time for yourself, to fill up your cup, to do things you enjoy. And the universe is urging you to be way more intentional and selective and purposeful and conscious of what you are agreeing to, what you are giving your time, attention, and energy. This is not bad to say yes to other people. It's not bad to help out other people, but it shouldn't be a major no for yourself. It shouldn't, if you're wanting to be a helpful person, it's a great thing. But if helping out all these other people means that you're constantly drained and you can't even take care of yourself or do anything for yourself, that's not okay. Sure, sometimes, you may want to step in and help someone out and you could be a little drained from it. But if that's the kind of people, if they're just taking advantage of you and sucking you dry, no. You need to schedule in yourself. You need to prioritize your peace of mind and well-being. And that means telling people no. Not necessarily all the time, but there's only so many things you can say yes to in a day. There's only so much time and energy that you have each and every day. And so if you're saying yes to all these other people, that could mean you're telling yourself time and time again, no, I'm not going to do that thing I enjoy. No, I'm not going to, take time to make a lovely meal for myself and make sure I have the nourishment. I'm going to grab something quick. No, this, no, that. No, I don't have time to rest. No, I don't have time to make sure I get a full night's rest. No. It's sometimes maybe that's necessary. But if that's always what you're doing yourself and honestly everyone around you a major disservice, because what kind of quality are your the fruits of your labor if you are running on fumes? If you're constantly pouring out of your cup to the point where you're basically empty all the time, how much of a service, how beneficial are you to yourself and other people? So take time to schedule yourself in. Take time to do things for yourself. Don't just keep putting yourself on the back burner. Be very intentional to what you agree to. Yes, it could be disappointing if, people are used to you saying yes all the time and they could be trying to guilt you and shame you and all these things. Be okay with it. Be okay with it. I have this side channel where I do some art stuff and someone came and made a comment and it was pretty negative and nasty. And to me, if I don't like something, I acknowledge that I don't have to stay there. If I'm not liking a video, if something about the energy is rubbing me the wrong way, I choose to leave. I don't have to sit here and watch. I don't have to interact with it. I don't have to give it any more of my time, energy, and attention. I can just leave. And so with me, I'm just like, oh, like that's just the way people act. No, no, like so many people, they get so nasty and like you did something purposely like to wrong them or harm them or upset them. Like this person was just ranting and ranting and ranting because every night, well, almost every night, because sometimes things happen and like I don't have the time to do it, but almost every night, one of the things I do for myself is I take some time to relax, maybe listen to a podcast while I do the craft, maybe listening to some music, whatever, and I do like an art or craft type thing. Lately, it's been diamond art, and so I know some people like to watch it. So what I do is I record it, work on it for an hour or two, and then I will condense it because I know in today's age, most people, they don't have time to watch like hours and hours of things. And so I condense it. I make it short. It usually ends up being somewhere between like, I don't know, 3 to 5 minutes. Because I like do the fast forward, the version, like speed up of like 100 or 1,000%, whatever the fastest is. And that's usually what it goes to. And so, I put some music in the background just to make it interesting. And this person just like ranting about how like it was so awful, and the whole reason they watch diamond art videos is because they find the sound of it, being applied is so soothing, but like I just ruined it because I added music and blah 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 blah. And I'm like, honestly, you wouldn't want to hear the normal background in my house because my family members are usually watching TV really loud or being really loud and like fighting with our cat and all these things. So I'm like, you say you want this, but I don't think you really do. And you know what? If you don't like how I did it, you don't have to watch. Like, just leave. Like, I get that nothing, like, nobody can please everybody. There are going to be people who get mad if I did it the way this person wanted and had it be like an hour or whatever long video. It's like, I'm doing what works for me. And if you don't like it, go ahead and leave. I won't take it personally. But like, the fact that you're leaving this whole long spiel and rant about how awful it is, like, honey, listen. If you don't like it, that's fine. Find what you like. Go to it. You don't need to start throwing mud at other people, It's like, this is something I just share because it's like a ritual with myself where I can take some time to relax, to unwind, to do something fun. And figured other people might like to see my progress as I go through the week on different designs and whatnot. If that's not for you, that's fine. Honestly, like, I won't be offended. But yeah, like, I didn't want to go in the whole back and forth. I don't need to justify myself to them. I don't need to explain myself to them. So I just removed the comment because I'm like, you know what? I don't need this energy. You know what? If that's how you feel, if you want to leave all these really negative, ranty complaints on other people's channels, your prerogative. And I know like everyone's like, oh yeah, you want people to be like talking and all these things. Like, I just don't want to deal in that energy. So that's the kind of energy that the universe is bringing in. It's wanting you to focus on yourself, to prioritize your peace of mind and well-being, to be intentional of what you do. Because I could have gone into it with them. I could have, explained myself and justified what I did, what I did. It was like, I can't please everybody, and neither can you. So don't get too up in arms and try to figure out how to please everybody. It's like, it's not your job to please everybody else. It's not. Like, your job is to live your best life, to enjoy the ride, to enjoy the journey. And not everyone's going to agree with your choices because the choices that are best for you may not be best for them, and that's okay. But make sure to schedule yourself in. Don't put yourself last. The universe really doesn't want you to put yourself last. It wants you to be very intentional and prioritize your peace of mind and well-being. Okay, so we also have Jade, be the bigger person. And I think part of that is, kind of playing into the story I just shared with you. Because, like, all too often, people on social media and just life in general, they will go tit for tat and like try to one up each other and get into all this drama and conflict and chaos. And it's like, you don't have to do that. You can choose to walk away. You can get real intentional, selective, and mindful about what you're doing and who you're associating with and what you're associating with and what gets your time, energy, and attention. Because is it worth it getting into all those little tiffs with other people? Sometimes, yeah, it's very important and worth it to have open communication and bring things up to people who are important to you. But when it comes to people online, there's a pretty decent chance you're never going to interact with that person again. Or it's going to be very, minor. You probably won't run into them in your day-to-day life. And so, think about who you want to be, how you want to show up in the world. Because me personally, I try my best. I'm still human. I'm still learning and growing and improving. I don't want to try to be like, oh, I'm up here on my soapbox talking down to all of you and because people can do that. And like, listen, I've made mistakes, but I try my best to live a life of integrity. Sometimes I slip up, sometimes I get it wrong, and I try to own up to it. I try to apologize, and not everybody wants to hear it. There are people out there who just want to cling to their narratives because it makes them, the good guy and you the bad guy, and they don't want any room for change, and they're like, this is how it is. And like, that's the thing, like with that toxic group, with the narcissist, with my family members, I'm open to them learning, growing, and improving. I genuinely believe anyone and everyone can learn, grow, and improve, but it's a choice. And so many people don't choose it. So many people don't choose to live a life of integrity and accountability. But yeah, if you heard that noise in the background, that was Suki with a toy. But like, they want to have you in this box because then they can, live their life and be like, I was the victim. And it's like, you can choose that if you want. You can choose to try to keep people in boxes and, be like, everything stays the same forever. And it's like, good luck with that. Like, that's the thing with the toxic group and the narcissist, for example. I would step back. I would take time to sort out my feelings, process my feelings, try to gather my wits, and come up with a response to them, to openly, honestly, and respectfully communicate with them, because I genuinely wanted a peaceful resolution. And I had people who had witnessed the things that they're doing. It's like, they don't deserve it, you don't need to spend all this time, energy, and attention on them. I was like, I don't have to, no, but I would rather give it my best shot and say that I tried and I offered the olive branch and I did everything within my power to make it work. If it doesn't work because they're refusing, it is what it is. I at least tried. I at least knew I gave it my all. I at least tried to live a life of integrity and give them a chance, because sometimes people do hurtful things and they don't realize that it's hurtful. Whether it's they didn't realize you interpreted it that way, whether, they didn't expect it to have certain outcomes and like it was harmful to you and it didn't even, register on their radar that it could have happened that way, like whatever it is. And so I at least wanted to give it a chance and be like, hey, this is how it's been going down. This is the things you've been doing. It's been really harmful to me, this, that, and the other, and like trying to like break it down in simple terms while still being kind and respectful, not trying to sling mud, because that group was slinging mud and it's like they couldn't handle the light. It was triggering their own insecurities, their own shadows, their own unhealed things that they need to deal with, and they didn't want any part of it, and that's fine. But, it just gets to the point where it's like, I tried everything I could. You still, threw mud and spit in my face and this and the other. It's like, okay, now I'm moving on. I'm being very intentional. It's like, I was very intentional with my words. I was very intentional with the state I was coming when I was trying to communicate with them, because there were times where I'm like, I know I can't communicate with you guys right now, because I am very much in my feelings. I am very much human, and you wouldn't like what I have to say right now, because what I would have to say is true, but it wouldn't be particularly kind. You have shaken the hornet's nest. It's like, I'm a double fire sign. Double fire signs can be very, like, just think of fire. It can be very calming. It can bring light. It can bring warmth. It can, help you cook, all these things. It can also burn you when you play with it and you're not taking it seriously and not respecting it. So it's like, most people just say I'm so loving and caring and bright and all these things. And it's like, yeah, I am. But it's just like, I watched a show recently. Actually, I think it was a movie, but they were talking about, it's those nice, kind people that are the scariest when they're mad. And it's like, and you never forget. And it's like, yeah, I could go scorched earth on you, but I know this is not going to serve me and what I'm trying to do. I know it will not help communication. I know it will not, help me get to this peaceful resolution that I'm striving for. I'm going to back off. I'm going to cool down. And so that's one thing. It's just the universe wants you to get crystal clear on what you want and be very intentional with what you do, what you say, when and where and how and why you're doing and saying what you do. Because if you're just, going in this blindly reactive state, as many people tend to do, we're all human, we all have those bad days, but if you're going from a blindly reactive state, odds are it's not going to match up with your intention of what you're wanting. Like, if you're having a disagreement with friend, family member, partner, boss, whoever it is, odds are you want to have effective, open communication. You want problems resolved. You want them addressed. But if you're coming at things in the heat of anger, odds are you're going to say things you regret. So just try to be a big person. Doesn't mean it's always easy. Doesn't mean you won't sometimes slip up. But yeah, phantom quartz, embrace change. That feels like what I was saying about how anyone and everyone can learn, grow, and improve. They can change, but it's a choice. And a lot of times people don't want to embrace that. And there are times when people are refusing to change. They want to stay in their comfort zone. They want to stay in the familiar. It's like, that's one thing I've been reflecting on with things, with the people in my life, and noticing patterns and habits. And it's like, if it happens once or twice, it can be a mistake. But when it keeps happening again and again and again and again, and it happens through it, all these different seasons, all these different years, and people are just doing the same thing over and over and over again, and you've tried to bring it up to them, you've tried to say different things, and it's like falling on deaf ears. It's like, it's no longer a mistake. Like, they can try to claim it, but it's a choice. They're choosing to do what they do. And you have to get clear, intentional, and purposeful and selective with what you do and how you move forward. Because you can keep choosing to associate with them, but if they've shown their true colors, don't expect different results when you have tried everything you can think of to try to bring awareness to the situation, to try to get improvements. And, when it comes to that, like with what happened with that toxic from the narcissist, sometimes it's so necessary. You need to change in the sense of walking away, of cutting ties. Like with other people, like I have been very distant. I have not been sending them energy. Like, I'll talk to them once in a blue moon. It'll be very cordial and polite, but it's like surface level, because I'm like, I know too much. And it's like, it's not that I'm opposed and I'm closed off to them learning, growing, improving, but until they choose that, I'm like, this is how I'm going to be moving about in the world. I'm still going to be kind to you. I'll still be respectful. But it's going to be at a distance, and I'm going to limit how I interact with you and when I interact with you and how much time, energy, and attention you get. Not in a mean way, just in a sense of prioritizing myself and knowing you end up being an energy drain on me. I don't know if you intend to be it or not, but I'm going to prioritize my peace of mind and well-being. I'm going to put myself first. I'm going to schedule myself in while being the bigger person. I'm not going to be nasty to you. I'm not going to play petty manipulative games like so many people do. But I'm just not going to be around. You're not going to see me. I'm going to do my own thing. And sometimes you got to embrace that change and have those healthy boundaries. I mean, you should always have healthy boundaries, but the change in the sense of doing things differently, not letting the same story play out time and time again, not letting people walk all over you like a doormat, It can be easier said than done, but it's very, very important, because if you keep letting people treat you that way, that's how they think they can, that's how they'll treat you. They'll think it's fine. They'll think it's fine. Yeah. Time to move on. Flow with the river, see where it takes you. That's the thing, the universe is not wanting you to get caught up in rigid mindsets, closed mindsets, being controlling and forceful and be like, this is the way it has to be. These are my friends. This is my partner. This, that, and the other. This is my family. We ride or die. It's like, are they showing you the same amount of consideration, care, respect, kindness, love, support that you give them? Because I'll let you know, not that my family's horrible people or anything, but they do not. They do not. They are very, I guess the way to put it is egotistical, very self-centered, very much, this is my world, and I'm going to say whatever narrative makes me out to be the best person, the one that's in the, in the right, and you're in the wrong, and if you say anything different, then I'm going to fight you because I'm going to die on this hill. It's a whole thing. So it's just yeah, I've been being a lot more quiet around them. To be honest, I've always been pretty quiet around them. Being, doing my own thing, minding my own business, usually off in Fantasyland because they're just all about the drama. But it's just also with that toxic group, the narcissist, I thought we had a very cool thing. I thought we were like a found family, all this stuff, and their true colors came out, and I had to revise my plans. I had to be very intentional with what I did. I had to be selective of who, what, when, where got my energy, because they're just, sucking me dry like energy vampires. And, it sucked, but I know better, healthier relationships are out there for me. So why would I stay in that, It's time to move on. It's time to let that go. Yeah. Let go of a fixed plan. Allow for spontaneity and growth. That's what I'm saying. We can't be so closed off and rigid and controlling and forceful with things. Because just like how I've had basically no contact with the one friend who was asking me to be an accountability partner, and then blew up on me and was doing all this nastiness, and then, trash talking our other friend, this whole thing, it's been 5 months now, and I haven't really said anything to them. They're just trying to act like everything's normal, be like, oh, we should all get together for a movie night or book club. And it's we haven't addressed all the stuff you did. People have even pointed it out to you, and you're still no, I didn't do anything wrong. It's I mean, if that's what you want to believe, okay. And it's just if that's how you want to go about it, fine. You do you, but I'm going to be over here walking this other path with people who are being respectful and kind. If you want to join me, if you want to, match my energy, cool. If you want to go over there and walk your own path, that's cool too. It's cool too. I'm not going to go and bash you. I'm not going to go and say, I hate you and you're a horrible person and all that, but it's I'm not going to play those games. I'm not going to be in those dynamics anymore. I already have to deal with all these blood ties. You think I'm going to be oh yes, the people that I get to be selective and intentional about, the people who I was not born attached to, you think I'm going to be yeah, that's fine, treat me like they do? No. Be authentic. Your way is the only way for you. That's the thing. My family wants me to be like them. They're trying to get me to conform to be like them. They keep trying to get me to join they're the company that most of them are working for, or most of them have worked for. Like, my parents met in that company. My mom no longer works there, but like, they're all like, I've had my grandpa work there, I have aunts work there, cousins, uncles, my siblings all work there. It's like, no, my dad's still there. It's like, that's not for me. I will lose my sanity. I will not want to be here anymore. Like, I heard too much about this thing. No. And like, they don't like that I do things differently, that I'm more open to having online things and making, content creation stuff. And they don't get it. They think there's nothing there. And it's just like, yeah, it takes time, but it's like, I feel so much more fulfilled. I feel like I have a purpose and meaning, and like, I can help more people this way. Like, that's my whole thing. Like, I've always cared a lot about other people. I've always wanted the best for them. I've always wanted to help them. I couldn't tell you how many times people have come up to me just like all of a sudden spilling me their heart and soul to me, like, what do you think I should do? I was like even in like school, like when I was little, I was like, I don't know if I'm qualified. It's like, no, just give me your best thing, like what you think. And I was like, well, I can give you my perspective. And like, and they're like, well, what would you do if you were in my shoes? I'm like, well, I can't say for certain because I'm not in your shoes, but this is what I think I would do. And like, this is like what I'm noticing. And like, they would always say it was super helpful. But it's just like, I just want to help people, honestly. And my family is just okay with going through the motions and like checking off a box and like going on autopilot and jobs and stuff. I'm like, I wouldn't be able to make it in that life. Like, I tried with going to schools, like working in school systems, because it's like I wanted to help people. And it's like, nothing against schools, because there are a lot of good teachers and staff that work there, but there's also a very, very dark underside to that, and some horribly toxic, nasty people. Like, every boss I've had while working in a school, because I've worked in many of them, it's probably been a narcissist, honestly. Like, they are so toxic and two-faced, and like, will drain you for every bit of your energy and then spit you out and toss you out like you're trash. Like, I just can't do it. I've tried it, but it just led me to burnout. So I was like, yeah, no, I'm gonna do my own thing. And that's what the universe is wanting for you as well. They want you to do what's right for you. They want you to walk your own path. And speaking of which, I've been working on some guides that I'm going to be putting up online soon. And I'm going to see about working out, like, I don't know all the codes and stuff, so like, I'm trying to get it for free and whatnot. So I'll keep you posted on that. But yeah, just be authentic. Your path is the only way for you. You do you. Don't get so caught up in the naysayers and the haters and the critics and all these people who maybe have, good intentions. They think they're helping you, but they're not you. You know what's best for you. Listen to your heart and soul. Listen to the energy, because that will tell you all you need to know. Yeah. The snake transformation. And we're also in the year of the snake for the Chinese New Year, Chinese zodiac. And so this very much feels like we are shedding our old skins so we can emerge into the new person we're growing into, so we can turn the page to the new chapter. And, it's like, night turning to day. And it's like, you could seem really, really dark right now. Nothing's seeming to work out, but the sun will rise again and you will be so much stronger and better for it. But you got to be authentic. You got to stay true to yourself, because as much as people love to, give their 2 cents, you got to do what's best for you and trust the process. Yeah. Turtle patience. Like, so often we're in a rush. We're wanting things to be instantaneous. So much in our society is instant gratification, but you are like a seed. You've been planted, and so it will take time for you to grow. Some seeds grow faster than others. Sometimes it takes a long time for the fruits of your labors to bloom, to thrive, for you to harvest. So I know I've been working at trying to do online content for several years now, been learning and growing. Some things have worked out, some things have had better results than others, but I'm just like trying my best to keep patient and trust the process, because I know plenty of paths that don't work for me. I've tried things. I also just have feelings in my gut about other things, and I trust my intuition because the energy doesn't lie. And so, yeah, you will find your path. You will find your purpose. It's all going to work out for you. The Scorpion power. This feels like you have all the power on the inside of you. You have it all within, so you don't need to worry. It makes me think of the sayings, as above, so below, as within, so without. Like, your internal world will mirror in the external. If you have the internal foundation, if you have the internal peace, the internal trust, the internal self-confidence, self-worth, self-love, self-respect, it will mirror in the outside world. But if you have a whole bunch of doubt and insecurity, not that there's anything wrong with that, because we're all human, but when you have that kind of shaky internal foundation, it's going to mirror in the external. And so just keep working at it bit by bit, because you have the power within you. You truly do. It's all going to work out for you. Yeah. Magic. The magic is inside of you and also outside of you with the universe. May you flow with the divine. Trust. Co-create with the divine instead of working against it. Go with the flow. Paddle downstream instead of paddling upstream, trying to force your way. Listen to the energy. Listen to your heart. See what aligns with your soul. Because the universe can work miracles and magic for you. But you have to be open to it. You have to trust. Bliss. May you feel deeply and transcend. Like, it just feels like you're transcending the old ways, transcending the expectations of society and the people around you, like them trying to fit you in this box. You're like, that's not my path. That's not what I'm meant for. I'm meant for so much more. I'm meant to have a blissful life that I truly enjoy. And it's going to lead to your freedom. May your soul sing freely. That's the thing. Don't die with your song unsung. Show up as your authentic self. Show up genuinely. You have passions, interests, strengths, gifts, so much to offer the world. And yeah, you're human. Yeah, you may have things where you're not so great at, but that doesn't mean you're worthless. It's time for you to shine. It's time for you to be free. The universe is working its magic for you. It's all going to work out, but you got to trust it. You got to trust it. I am not the victim, I am the lighthouse. Yeah, it's all about the narratives we tell ourselves. If we're going around saying, like, nothing good ever happens for me, everything always goes wrong, nothing goes right, like my family does, that's the kind of energy you're bringing about. That's the kind of experiences you're manifesting into your reality. So instead, be the light. Focus on love and lightheartedness and peace and prosperity. Focus on the positive. Not that you don't acknowledge it, the, shadow, the negative, the things that aren't going to, your preference, because they very much exist. Doesn't mean you sweep it under the rug, you pretend it's not there, you sidestep it. But realizing, again, that you have the power inside of you. You have magic inside of you. I don't need to find my purpose will find me. That's the thing. If you stop trying to force things, if you trust and go with feeling more than trying to be, so rigid, controlling, and rational about things, how the mind loves to be like, oh, well, I need to, go be a doctor because they make a lot of money, and then, with all that money, I'll be set, and I'll be able to have a house, and I'll have all this, that, and the other, and it's like, but will you be happy? Will you have the health you want? Because maybe you'll have crazy hours. Maybe you'll be super stressed from working with all the people at the hospital and whatnot. And you don't need to rush. You don't need to try to force things. Have patience, because it's going to find you. It's going to find you. I welcome abundance, and I will pay attention to the guidance I receive, because the universe is guiding you. It's with you every step of the way. You don't need to worry. You don't need to try to force things, because it's working magic and miracles for you behind the scenes. But it's about opening up and allowing it in, because the universe is sending you signs. It's sending you messages. It's sending you those intuitive hits, those intuitive nudgings. Be like, hey, go this way. But if our mind is full of this loud mental chatter, we're never going to be able to hear it. We'll be too distracted. So by quieting ourselves down, by calming down, by allowing ourselves to be a human being, not a human doing, we'll be able to let that in. We'll be able to let the abundance in, the peace, the prosperity. But we got to learn to trust and have faith and allow, because we're too focused on always doing things and running from this to that and like having our to-do list and not making time for ourselves, to the point where we're so disconnected from ourselves and from the divine and from the universe. Because the universe is here trying to give us all like the little signs and messages we need, all the insight, all the guidance, but we've become blind and deaf to it. Because modern society, in spite of all its conveniences, in spite of all its greatness, it's had us become very disconnected and just out of sorts, and like there's a lot of chaotic energy. We've lost peace, we've lost, gratitude, and, the simple pleasures, stopping to smell the roses, Seek out information that will help you. And that could be, reading books. That could be reading guides. It could be watching helpful videos. It could just be taking time to quiet your mind. And whether that be, with meditation, journaling, just sitting with yourself, getting out into nature, whatever it is, just finding a way to quiet down and being able to listen. Because so often we're willing to do all the talking, we're willing to do all the sharing, but we never allow ourselves to listen and receive. And that can be very, very helpful. Yeah. Wind chimes, peace and harmony. We need to allow that in. We need to be very intentional, selective, and purposeful with what we do, so we can cultivate a life of peace and harmony. Because that doesn't happen on accident. Peace and harmony don't happen by happenstance. You have to be intentional about it. You have to be selective with who, what, when, where you're associating with, why you're doing what you do, why you say what you say. It's about having the peace within, so you can see the peace externally. But, okay, we have ring. A marriage will take place, either romantic or business. And that's the thing. When you're having your internal world be a place of peace and harmony, because you're being intentional about what you're doing, intentional about what you're saying yes to, being selective of where your time, energy, and attention goes, being very purposeful in what you do, you're able to attract in all the right people, all the right opportunities, all the right situations, all the right places. It's all going to line up. You're going to be in alignment. You're going to be able to take that inspired, aligned action. And it's going to benefit you so beautifully. And it's this beautiful transformation. And it's all coming together for you. It may take a little bit of time, but it will come together. Yeah. Victory in some endeavor. And it feels like the story of the tortoise and the hare. When people are rushing through, they can get overconfident. They can, try to cut corners. They can think, oh, I don't need to try that hard. But in the end, by having patience, by going slow and steady, by being intentional about what you do, not pushing yourself so hard that you burn out, you get victory. In the end, you succeed. You have, the win. But you got to be intentional. You got to be purposeful. Yeah. Rainbow, the most difficult part of the situation is over. The universe is working its magic for you. It's going to be okay. Yeah. Butterfly, a change for the better. Again, the universe is working its magic and miracles for you, but you got to be open to it. You got to be selective. You got to be mindful. Moon, changes in your life. And this is changes for the better. This is transformation. You're putting yourself first. You're prioritizing your peace of mind and your well-being. And you're putting things like bliss and peace and harmony and joy and love and laughter and lightheartedness and fun first. And it's going to make a world of a difference. You're going to be free, and basket, recognition, reward from it, you're going to reap the rewards. Look how full this basket is. You are going to reap the fruits of your labor. And it may take some time, but it's all coming together so beautifully for you, you know? So rest assured that it's all going to be a-okay. But the universe needs you to get more intentional. It needs you to get more selective. It needs you to get more purposeful. You can't be just doing things willy-nilly and blindly reacting to things and, just being like, well, I don't know what to do, so I'm just going to do this one thing that, like going to old coping mechanisms and habits that aren't healthy for you. And you feel in your heart and soul, like energetically, it just feels wrong. Don't do that. You're doing yourself a disservice. Abundance is coming to you. Peace is coming to you. Purpose is coming to you. Love and light and laughter is coming to you, but you got to be authentic, and you got to stay on your own unique path and be true to yourself. It's all working out for you, but you got to stay true. So I'm wishing you all a wonderful rest of your day. Please take care, and I'll see you next time. Bye.